Good morning, listeners and viewers. Welcome to Spice FM and Show Business. And gosh, it's Mental Health Week this week. And we've got another incredible show for you this morning. Jalf is obviously coming in on his yacht. I'm sure I've seen him buy it from Roman Abramovich. Anyway, good morning. So I'm going to kick off, keep you entertained for a little bit, and then hopefully Jalf will join us. So you're listening to Ammar and Joe live on Spice FM, and each week we bring you some news, views, and one or two clues from the business world. Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities. And whether you have an existing business, want to start a business, or just want to talk business, we can help. We can help, and we do help. So welcome. Gosh, Friday the 13th. Crazy. Let's hit this. Let's see what happens if I do that. And I don't want to do that. And let's move that there. And let's move that there. And I am multitasking, as you could probably hear, possibly hear. Don't know if that is the case, but anyway, I'm just preparing myself, which I probably should have, could have, and would have done had my computer not decided to do critical updates. Anyway, let's get going with the show, if we may, please. So I'm going to hit that button. I'm going to hit this button. I'm just hitting lots of buttons. So we'll be stopping the show around about 10:58 because we're approaching Mental Health Awareness Week. Hello? Sorry, heard someone in the background. Anyway, we're going to be talking a little bit about that by the end of the week. End of the show. Friday the 13th, and it certainly feels like Friday the 13th. I'm saddened to say. It's been a challenging day or two, from cars failing, to computers failing, to houses failing. It's all of that. But in any event, you're listening to, hey, good morning, super cool Jalf. Hey.
How you doing? You okay?
Yeah. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Just sorry, I just had a little I'm just parked on the street, but I had a quick call I couldn't get off, so I'm just a few minutes late.
No problem. It's all good. It's all cool and the gang. I was just we just started the show. So the headline, is Finland's to apply for NATO membership without delay.
Well, I think Finland, they have a historical agreement going back, after the end of the Second World War, that they would forever remain neutral. And that was one of the conditions that the Soviets, when the Soviet Union kind of, if you want to call it, collapsed or it dispersed with certain conditions, and Finland, which has a 1,300-mile border with Russia, and it's kind of on the edge of St. Petersburg, a very, very important country within Russia. So if they do get NATO membership, it means that they are breaking that historical agreement, and Russia has already come out and said that Russia's already said that if you do that, we're going to attack you. Effectively, there's going to be like military kind of strikes or military actions against them. So I think I personally think that obviously from a war strategy point of view, Ammar, if you think about it, I'd think that you're not gonna. This is not just happening by chance. It's got to be a strategic plan over a good number of years. I think it's not a matter of just coming today and convincing the leaders that yes, we think that you should be a part of NATO, we should go, collate, we should get together with a view to bringing Russia down. It would have started, maybe it's 20, 30 years ago by finding individuals and position them and putting them into power who are going to be like-minded, are going to be able to take you in a direction that the global elites want. So then they can steer away from those historical agreements because someone's going to have the brass neck to defy the historical agreements based on obviously so-called new security conditions or the new security issues that the war they're calling it the special military operation in Ukraine has created for the rest of Europe. So I think either way, everything that's happening in Ukraine is very, very dangerous, and it's really bad for the whole of Europe, for the whole of the world.
Yeah, it is. It is in every sense. Supply chains, everything. I mean, gosh, Jeff. So last week. Hello.
Yep, got a mark on hear you.
All right. Yeah, Roger. You sound as if you're undercover.
Yep. No, gone. I think it's just switched to the speakers, but it's all good. I can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay, wonderful. Roger that. Car 34, car 34. The microphone's not very good in the car then, is it? I thought you had a super duper car.
No, it used to be 15, 12 years ago, whenever it was.
So, last week, Jeff, my brother came round to see me in the house, and I was like, "Oh, do you need anything?" He's like, "Well, if you're going somewhere, can you grab me some oil?" He says, "I've been to 4 shops. I've been to 4 shops,
right,
and there's no cooking oil." And I was like, "Really?"
Right.
And then I went to Tesco's. So he'd been to Asda, he'd been to Morrison's, he'd been to like various big superstores. And I goes into Tesco's, and the aisle was nearly empty. As in, there was just none of your traditional oils were available. There was just like this, whatever it was. So I got a bit, and he was delighted. But then when I got home, my daughter had come round, and equally she's like, "Oh, Dad, I needed some oil as well." I was like, "Oh, you should have asked her. I didn't know." She's like, "We've been everywhere. There's no oil. How are you finding oil? Because you've got loads on your hair."
That's kind of more. That's you can use leftover oils, for your hair. But generally, from the business point of view, the supplies are still there, Ammar, but the costs are incredible. The oil, chicken, everything has gone up so much. I think that. I've had.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, right? Because the Sunday Times, for the first time, sorry, just that bit about the chicken. In the Sunday Times, Jeff, they were saying that the cost of chicken is now going to compete against steak.
Well, effectively, it will. It's getting there. I think. Look, I went to a restaurant on Sunday with a family. Obviously, without naming it. It used to be a great restaurant, and most of the stuff, even the day I visited, was still decent. But as soon as I took one bite of the chicken, I was like, "Oh my God, I can see what they've done." Because of the cost of the chicken, they've basically gone to a very, very cheap chicken, and it's probably from Brazil. It's probably got lots and lots of water content in it. And as soon as you took the bite, honestly, it was awful. It was so terrible.
Really?
And unfortunately, operators, they are going down that route. And we've had the discussion with our suppliers, and we said that, look, well, there's no way we would ever go down that route. We'll absorb the cost and try and find other cost savings elsewhere, but we'll never compromise on the quality. But the costs are absolutely horrendous. And you're getting people coming in who probably not quite understanding what's happening in the world. And there's been price increases everywhere, whilst they've been very, very slight. But people are kind of finding it very difficult, because the automatic thing is that everywhere is expensive, and we're not going to be any indifferent to everybody else. There's only a certain amount you can absorb, prices will go up, and things are going to get more expensive to dine in restaurants. You're not going to go eat. You can't. If you think about it, Ammar, you're not going to. If we go out for lunch, what type of budget do you think we should have for a decent place to have a 2-course lunch, maybe with a dessert, 3-course lunch?
Hannah?
Yeah, you might get that at McDonald's, but if you go to any decent restaurant, you're not going to get anything less for like 25 quid for lunch. Like a decent lunch. I'm not saying a lunch on the go. I'm just saying if we went to the club, the gentleman's club, to get lunch there, man, I know it was always very, very competitively priced, but I can't see lunch happening for less than 20 to 25 quid these days. And dinner, you're not going to get a decent dinner for. It's going to be between 30 to 40 quid in any decent restaurant, and that's the kind of change of the dynamic.
What did it? Sorry, Jalf. What did it used to be? What would you expect? And what
I would have thought average. I would have thought that you could go get a lunch within 20 quid, a decent lunch within 20 quid. But you're not going to get a decent lunch within 20 quid. If you go to any of the restaurants, whether it's like the Pizza Expresses of the world, everything's just constantly going up. I mean, I received the first P30 bill from the revenue, and honestly, I was just flabbergasted with how much these 1.5% increases in NI and along with the tax, how much that has an impact on your monthly PAYE P30 bill.
It's crazy,
it's incredible.
But it's also then it's also affecting then the employees, though, Jalf.
I think it's affecting the employees because whilst there's been an automatic pay rise for those on a minimum wage, that's still not percentage-wise. It's still a net loss for them because of all the other increases that have gone up. Their rents have gone up. Anyone with a rent review now, Ammar, imagine how much the rent's likely to go up by. Your gas contracts, it's a constant change. So their costs have gone up, but they feel that their pay increase is not a pay increase because they're left with less. But we've done our bit as employers to shift them in line with the living wage in A, B, C, and D. But we don't have the resource or the space, the financial capacity to give them more in line with the cost of living increases, because our finances for the businesses are very, very tight. So, it's a vicious circle for all. But I think, this is how and where it is at this moment in time. I think it's just not going to get any better. I just feel, Ammar, that this is far worse than what it was in the pandemic during the full lockdown in terms of the impact on business and the finances of people.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Do you feel that? Do people in your kind of business circle feel the same in terms of the impact that we are seeing today, whether it be a combination from the pandemic, the war in Ukraine, Brexit, and all the other, and just getting over the pandemic and beginning to pay for it effectively? Do you feel that similar course in terms of the hardships that people are facing?
It's affecting everyone, John. It's certainly affecting. I'm looking at our business and the rise in costs, and I'd actually given all of our staff a 10% increase. Is what I'd done, to just simply help support them. Now, traditionally, that's a really big deal, and even in the current circumstance, it's a really big deal. But if you then do factor in all of the costs that you've just referred to, it's horrific. It's horrific.
Yeah.
I have started to experience number of rising costs, supplies, whether it's paper, whether it's printing, whether it's our business centre provides complimentary tea and coffee to everyone.
Yeah.
Right. So just
You're
think
not
about
taking that away from us, are you?
Absolutely.
You're taking the tea and biscuits away from us.
Well, no, the biscuits had gone. The biscuits had gone ages ago.
Preposterous.
Yeah.
That's just shocking.
And there's certainly no intention of doing so. The point is, however, that there is an aspect of increasing all of these costs, and how do you continue to support people? That said, our costs are really competitive if you just want a desk or a couple of desks in an office, because it includes sort of everything that you as a business need, all of your heating, your lighting, your everything else.
Yeah. I mean, what is worrying is that if this is just the beginning, Ammar, and if this is now and then things are just going to progressively get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, no, it is, and it will. That's exactly the challenge. Is that we are on this horrific trajectory of challenges. Anyway, so coming back to the headlines, obviously, going back to NATO, because a few are looking to join NATO, and you're right. It's just it seems like America is now intent on destroying Russia.
Look,
and doing everything it can to make that happen.
I think what they'll do first is they'll destroy. They will destroy Europe before Russia. Russia is a huge country. It
is. But my point is the point is that it will potentially lead to the deployment of tactical nuclear weapons.
Of course, and then that's it. That is the end of the world as we know it when that happens. I mean, Russia has got 6,000 nuclear weapons. This is not a war against Libya and Iraq and Syria.
So anyway, I mean, it is what it is, Jack. It's like, it's horrific. It's wrong. And I'll tell you what, there was an incredible comment. Noam Chomsky, have you come across him?
Yeah, of course. I remember when we went to Parliament and Noam Chomsky was there having a seminar, and we had just missed him. I mean,
we've met him. We've met him previously. We haven't met him.
I mean, he's a serious guy, Noam Chomsky.
So he's highly respected, highly reputable. He's highly credible, and he came up and out with. Let me just make sure my facts are right. So Noam Chomsky is
was it the comment about Trump?
Yeah.
I mean, I came across that, and I think it made sense in many ways, because what he was saying was there's one man that was potentially doing the right thing, where he wanted a relationship with Russia. What is wrong to have a relationship with another superpower with nuclear weapons? So you have a good rapport with them, and your rapport that you're having, it potentially could lead you to not having a nuclear war, as opposed to the rhetoric that is going around at the moment, which is all about anti-Russia, anti-Russia, anti-Russia. We hate the Russians. I think that's what Noam Chomsky was in effect saying.
Yeah, it was just as in, well, the point is, Noam Chomsky is a hero of the radical left. He's clever, a communist, a legend, a 94. He used to drink whiskey with George Orwell on Hampstead Heath, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, some time ago, he proclaimed Donald Trump as the most evil man to ever exist, is what he did.
Okay.
Surpassing Hitler himself, is what he said. That's what Noam Chomsky said, allegedly. Let me just be clear. Okay. Donald simply wants to be remembered as the greatest president ever. It's an ego thing, and it's entirely beneficial to the world, never mind the USA. And Noam's a curious mix of, I'm just reading this out, remember. Noam's a curious mix of being spot on with many things, but also completely missing the point on others. For instance, he says that he knows the media is just about 100% propaganda. That's what he's saying. So he was on this podcast the other day talking about Russia and Ukraine. Turns out his parents were from Ukraine and Belarus. Noam knows the history and all about the US instigated regime change in 2014, about the promises made, made 30 years ago that NATO would not advance 1 inch. And also that Ukraine, with Western help, has been waging war on those in the East that favor Russian reintegration.
That's like Donbass and Lugansk.
In short, he knows that the West is at fault, forcing Putin to react. He also thinks it's a terrible idea to force the complete destruction of Russia, which apparently the US has got it into its head as a good idea. Facing collapse, Russia would have to fall back on tactical nukes, which of course would escalate to total world annihilation. And here's the kicker. Noam says there is only one statesman in America with the correct solution, and that man is Donald J. Trump.
Well, if you think about it, Ammar, it's not that far-fetched for that to make sense, because I don't think it's a matter of the USA wants to ruin or destroy Russia. I think it's because the US economy is on the verge of collapse anyway, and they've put all these sanctions against Russia. But if you follow the ruble is at a 4-year high against the dollar and the euro, because now if you want Russian gas, whilst they can't publicly come out and say, many countries in Europe, they've actually converted the way that they purchase Russian gas, because they're now having to pay with the ruble, and they've set up ruble accounts. So what's happening is, by simply doing something like that, it's propped their economy and the ruble up against the dollar. There is talks of, you know who holds the key to the future of the American economy? It's actually Mohammed bin Salman, because there's talks of bin Salman allowing the Chinese to buy Saudi oil in the Chinese yuan, if that's how you pronounce it. If that happens, the Americans will probably go after Saudis if they do something like that, which they're quite entitled to do because it's their product. If they want to sell it in their currency, and the countries that's buying it, they buy it in their currency. In the face of it, what is so wrong with that? The problem is, if Vladimir Putin was in charge of a country like Libya, he would have been dead by now, because that's what they tried to do, move away from the petrodollar, and Saddam is gone, Gaddafi is gone. Now, they can't go and tackle Putin that easily because Russia is a very, very powerful country. And like you said, they've got nuclear weapons, so they have to think of their strategy slightly differently. But I think it's a matter of the American world rule is coming to an end, and it's quite obvious because of the debt that they have. And there's going to be a transfer of power from America, whether that is to China and Russia, the Euro-Asia economies, or whether Israel has got something under their sleeves to become the next ruling state of the world, because they control the financial market of the world, and there might be some kind of a financial collapse in a new financial world order, which effectively is the way that things are going to go. So there is big dynamics going on, big world kind of future battles, and I think Russia is just in the way of that global dominance. But what I didn't quite understand, Ammar, there's this thing called Nord Stream 2. You must have heard of it, right?
Yeah.
I looked into it because I was really fascinated by it. So I just went into YouTube and I kind of put in Nord Stream 2. And it's incredible what they've done, right? So they've got this big pipeline effectively from Russia all the way to Germany through the sea. I can't remember what the name of the sea is. And effectively they've just got these pipes that they build on the sea, right? And they just drop into the ocean and just sits on the bed of the ocean. And they're huge pipes. It's costing about £11 billion to do. And they've gone kind of halfway. A bit like the Euro tunnel, like we did half and France did half.
Yeah.
So Germany and Russia. And then Biden turns around and said, well, you're not opening that now. And it stopped. So Biden instructs Germany from Germany, saying that, right, yeah, Nord Stream 2, I'm not going to let you open it. And Germany said, oh, okay, then we're not going to open Nord Stream 2, and we've just invested £5 billion, and that's going to be, that's what's going to give us gas to our nation. And they just let America tell them that they're not going to have Russian gas to Germany.
There's a whole host of examples of this happening. I think there's a question around the regime change in Pakistan. There's a whole host of questionable actions. Anyway, that's what it is. We don't know what we don't know. What's going on is an atrocity in Ukraine. However, we equally do know that what we certainly don't need is a third world war. So NATO membership, really interesting, encouraging and forcing others to join up just to aggravate the situation. Personally, we don't know what's right or wrong because we don't have a view on this show. Apple, Jalf, loses position as the most valuable firm amid tech sell-off. So technology companies have took a hammering the last couple of weeks, and Apple, which was the world's most valuable company, has been pipped by Aramco, the Saudi oil, because of the increase in gas and oil prices. $2 trillion it's worth, apparently, which is it's all right if you can get it. And the final study finds lack of finance. So I was on the APPG for ethnic minority businesses on yesterday morning, and there is a distinct lack of finance for ethnic minority owned SMEs, which hinders the overall economy. Because if more ethnic businesses were supported, we'd see far more growth, because ethnic businesses and ethnic business owners are recognized as being up to 3 to 4 times more entrepreneurial as more traditional business owners. So that was the headlines of the week. The business topic of the week is IP and patents, Jalf. You've got some great stories about this, haven't you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's fundamentally important to anyone that wants to have a credible business.
Yeah.
You know,
so
the first thing that you do, well, I was just going to say, Ammar, the first thing that you do whilst in the name creation stage of your business, you do not finalize the name of your business until you figure out, yes, I'm able to patent this, or I'm able to get a trade, I'm able to trademark the name, and I'm the only one that has it. Because it cannot be a good idea unless if it's already gone. There's absolutely no point. You know, you have to create something that's unique and just unique to yourself, and you own it in its entirety.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in the economic world, intellectual property, or IP, refers to certain categories of rights owned by businesses to advance their goals. Patents, copyright, and trademarks, for example, are legal protections that allow people to profit financially or gain recognition from what they invent or create. The IP system strives to establish an environment where creativity and innovation can flourish by finding the correct balance between innovators' interests and the larger public interest. Trademark is a type of IP that protects your badge, logo, name, sign, design, expression, or item that distinguishes products or services from any others, by which customers find your products or services in the marketplace. Any individual, company, organization, business, or legal entity can be a trademark owner, and they essentially have exclusive use of that sign. Trade secrets. Trade secret is a type of IP that protects any sensitive commercial information that gives a company a competitive advantage. They're frequently employed when an invention or creation isn't patentable, or when the inventor doesn't want to reveal the secret publicly, as a patent requires. For example, any formula, sales processes, or marketing tactics that the business has personally developed and wishes to refrain from sharing publicly. Copyrights. Copyright is a type of IP that protects the owner's exclusive right to copy and distribute a creative piece of work for a set period of time, meaning no one but the creator can copy or issue a copy of said work to the public. The creative work can take the shape and form of literature, art, education, or music, and patents. A patent is an exclusive right granted for an invention, which is a product or a technique that offers a new technical solution to a problem or provides a new way of doing something in general. Technical information concerning the innovation must be revealed to the public in a patent application in order to get a patent. The patent owner has the sole right to block or prohibit others from commercializing the protected invention. And then there's a whole range of design patents, plant patents, and ultimately, to help on deciding which intellectual property or patent is best for you, feel free to consult the SME Centre of Excellence, as we have a range of experts and specialists who can help. So that's the patent thing. Jalf, tell us about your patent story.
Well, I mean, I've got so many, but I think the most interesting one was, so obviously we have Dabbawala, and the name Dabbawala originates from Dabbawalas, who are the lunchbox delivery men. Now, we have Dabbawala, but that should cover the Dabbawalas as well, because it's effectively based on that. You can't have two trademarks. You can't have Dabbawala and Dabbawala if Dabbawala is not trading. So we have Dabbawala as a trademark. Now, an operator in London, they pushed to get Dabbawala and open it. They promoted and started the launch of a restaurant in London called Dabbawala in Mayfair. Now, we kind of wrote to them objecting. They just dismissed the objection because they thought that all these little operators in Newcastle upon Tyne. We're like big. We are a big hotel in India. They're called the Leela Group. They've got about 20 resorts worth billions and billions of pounds. And this was their flagship restaurant in London because they just wanted to, spread the bill. They wanted brand awareness in London of their hotels and businesses in India, so people can find an association, which makes sense. So we objected, they didn't listen, and then we gave them a very strong solicitor's letter. And we kind of looked into their companies and we highlighted all the key people that were behind it, and some of them were celebrities and ABC and D. We wrote individual letters to 4 or 5 different people that had association with that particular brand, and that's when they woke up from the dead. Realized, oh my God, how did these guys find out, all of our names and this, that, and another. When you get a good solicitor, they can do a bit of investigation into company associations and ABC and D. So either way, they invited us down to London, and interestingly, me and my brother both went along, and they took us into a private room. They said, "Oh, this restaurant is yours. Welcome, be our guest." So they gave us like tandoor caviar and all sorts of beautiful things. So we sat in this private room, and it was a day actually that their sister branch has just been awarded a Michelin star. So we sat down, and we took our books with us because we have a couple of books. And then the guy was a bit shocked. He said, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you had your own books. And look, we just wanted we don't want to compete with you because you're in Newcastle, but we just want to be able to use the name." And I said, "Well, fine. There could be some negotiation to be had if you really, really want it, and you want me to give up something that we've worked very, very hard on, because I'm going to effectively lose the sole exclusivity." So basically, they said, "How much do you want?" And I said, "Well, look, have you seen these commentators in football matches when they say that, oh, the player's head is turned because someone's come."
Oh, hello, Job, are you there? Hello. Hello, Jeff. I don't know if we've lost Jeff, but he seems to have been frozen, whether it's me or him. I'm hoping that everybody on Spice FM can still hear us. Excuse me. And the story that Jeff was kindly sharing was very much, and he looks very interesting. He looks as if he's fallen asleep whilst I'm trying to talk to him. I don't know where he's gone. I'm hoping that he comes back. Jeff, are you there? Hello. And it's crazy that we're so dependent upon technology right now. Anyway, Job, are you there? Hello, Job. Anyway, okay, so that patent, it's really, really important to get a patent, have a patent, and secure your patent. So, and in doing so, you are able to secure the future of your business. We've got several trademarks as it happens, and use them quite effectively when it comes to sort of protecting our brand. And that's the thing, if you consider how much a brand is worth, and it's a slightly different and separate conversation, but branding and brand in itself is such an important aspect of your business. I'm going to try and find out where Jeff has gone. Oh, there you are, Jeff. Hello. Hello. Change the microphone. Turn the microphone on. Can you hear me? Jaffa, who are you with? We're mumbling, bumbling on, stumbling. Where have you gone? Hello. You need to get better broadband, I think. Hello. Hello, Jaff. Where are you? Gosh, it's crazy, crazy that we're experiencing these digital technical issues. I'll move on because next week we have the wonderful Curry Club once again, and we are, let me just share that. So we have the Curry Club. It's actually sponsored by the SME Centre of Excellence, but it's being brought to you in association with the Being Woman. So ABCurry Club brings together delicious curry and valuable networking opportunities to help connect, support and promote those within the Northeast. There will also be the opportunity to hear from our very own third sector award winner, Faria Usman of Being Woman, ahead of the launch of the ABC Annual Awards. Here's what you can expect from the evening. So the guests arrive at 6 o'clock at the SME Centre of Excellence right here in Ponteland. Jaff, are you coming? Hello? Jaff? Jaff? Talk? It's crazy. Crazy. Sorry, for our the benefit of our listeners, I don't know what's going on with Jaff's car or his connectivity. It's clearly not working, and it's quite frustrating. But I think he's doing it on purpose so he can get a flyer, or maybe it's just the yacht bobbing around in the sea, going out of communication connection. So we're going to welcome everybody here at the SME Centre of Excellence in Ponteland. There'll be a bit of an introduction, talk a bit about the SME Centre of Excellence, and then we're going to hear from Faria Usman of Being Woman, an ABC Third Sector Award winner. So a bit of an interactive session with some networking. We're going to have some curry. Obviously, it's a curry club. And then the event's going to finish at 7:30. So if you fancy it, jump straight on to the website, AB Connections, Asian Business Connections.org. So it's ABConnextions.org. And for all of your news, views, and one or two clues. Okay, let me stop sharing that. And don't know where Jaff's gone. Jaff, are you there? Nope. Don't know where. Let's see if I can multitask. And just thinking about other things that are going on. So for those of you who probably are unaware, the SME Centre of Excellence helps individuals and organizations to start, survive, and thrive. And it provides all of the support that you need. So whether you sort of want to start a business, so everything associated with starting a business, business planning, grants, loans, finance, company incorporation, marketing, websites, legal, HR, accountancy, literally everything that you need, you can get it from the SME Centre of Excellence. With regards to business, take away the pain. If you're running a business from home, so if you currently have a business at home, whether you're a tradesman or you're a professional service provider, or you're just making some golgappa and selling them, well, one of the things that I would highly recommend and suggest is that if you have an official business, is to register it at a business address. So somewhere like the SME Centre of Excellence or any serviced office, because what that allows you to do is to have a professional address separated from your home. It allows you to make sure that your insurance isn't affected, you don't have any issues, you don't have people turning up at your house, you're giving out your home address. I appreciate that may not be a big concern, but do you really want someone turning up in the middle of the evening or on a weekend because they have a query or they have a complaint? And ideally you want somewhere post to come to, somewhere where it is a professional address, it's handy to collect it. Traditionally service providers can scan and send out a copy of your post, so you've got it all electronically, or they can forward it on, or you can collect it. And it's really competitive. So for the peace of mind of having a professional office address, I think the costs start at something like £15 a month. £15 a month to have a professional office address. For me, there's a question, why wouldn't you have that? So if you're thinking about starting a business or have an existing business, get in touch with the SME Centre of Excellence and they will provide you with all of the support that you need. They've got things like business in a box, where literally they'll do the incorporation, they'll register you with the information commissioners, they'll get you your insurance, they'll provide you with all of your health and safety, all of your contracts, they'll set up do a logo, branding, website, literally everything that you need, they will do, and they'll support you. And that's an incredible offer. So reach out. Jalf.
Mark, can you hear me now?
Yeah, did your credit run out?
I had to move locations, Ammar. I don't know what happened.
So it was obviously you were getting jammed because they were listening to what you were saying, Jalf?
I didn't say anything controversial, did I?
I don't know. I never say anything controversial. I just read out what you sent me so that Jalf said it allegedly. We don't certainly share anything.
We were reading articles that have already written by other people. So
yeah, and obviously on air we have to take a balanced, impartial view. We don't have any views on this show whatsoever. Jalf, Arsenal on Monday.
Yeah, big. Well, it's going to be a big game because Arsenal lost yesterday to Tottenham and they still got top 4 aspirations. We are safe. It's our final home match. So I think it's going to be a big send-off to the players because they've done an amazing job. Eddie Howe's done an amazing job. And hopefully, next season is going to be a lot brighter. And it's going to take us back to where we once were, kind of fighting at the top of the Premier League.
And what about Liverpool and Man City, Jalf?
Yeah, I think obviously it's in Man City's hands. I think they'll win the league. I think because it's in their hands. They're 3 points ahead, so they're not going to lose the next 2. If they win the next 2 games, they're champions. So it's in Man City's hands. It's
so
not
how many games are left?
Only 2 games left per team. So Man City, I think they're 3 points ahead of Liverpool, and there's only 2 games left. So if they win the next 2 games, Liverpool can't catch them. But Liverpool are in the FA Cup final. I think
I think it'd be amazing for Liverpool to win all 4, wouldn't it?
Well, not really. Not for fans, other fans. No, I think they can't win. They can't win all. Well, it's not in their hands anyway, so they're not going to win the league. Definitely, they're not going to win the league.
I think they will.
They can't because it's not in their hands. So look, Man City are going to win the league for sure. One more game, and I think they've won the league. They win the next game, they won the league because the goal difference is quite high now. They're playing Chelsea in the FA Cup final. I think it's tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I think it is. Now, the last match against Chelsea in the Carling Cup final, Ammar. It was 0-0. It was an unbelievable match, and it went all the way to penalties, right? And that was a match where they did 10 penalties each, and everyone scored. And then the next 2 penalties are the goalkeepers. So Liverpool's goalkeeper scored, Alisson, and we went to Chelsea's goalkeeper, and he missed, and Liverpool became champions. It was that close. So the FA Cup final tomorrow, you just don't know who's going to win between Liverpool and Chelsea. It's going to be so tight. And then obviously you got the Champions League final, which is going to be amazing. But again, it's against Real Madrid. But I think Liverpool will be favourites for that one. But Real Madrid have shown that they've taken on all the big teams and have beat every single one of them. They had PSG in the quarterfinals, I think, or in one of the rounds, last 16. And in the quarterfinals, they saw off Chelsea. And then in the semi-finals, they saw off Man City. So they've played all the big teams and beaten all of them. And I think Liverpool have had a slightly easier ride in the Champions League because they played Villarreal in the last game. And I think prior to that, they played Benfica. So it's been a bit of an easier route for Liverpool and a much harder route for Real Madrid. And so that's going to be anyone's guess who can win that. But it's going to be a brilliant final, hopefully.
I think so. It's exciting. So who else have Newcastle got left to play then?
So we've got Arsenal on Monday, and the final game of the season is going to be the Sunday after, and it's against Burnley away.
Right.
And Burnley are fighting for their lives. So both of our games are actually very significant Premier League games. They're not dead rubbers, because Arsenal are going to come out to try and beat us on Monday because they need to beat us to get into the top 4. And Burnley, they're going to be fighting for their lives to survive in the Premier League. So we are going to be having a big say in what happens on the finishing table. And for us, all our ambitions were this season, Ammar, was to survive, and we've survived. We're the only team in the Premier League history, which is coming up to 30 years, that that did not win a game in the first 14 matches, and avoided relegation. So it's the first time in history that that's ever happened. So credit to Eddie Howe for everything that he's done. It's been a huge turnaround. I think we're going to have a really exciting summer. Hopefully, Aramco, is it Aramco, the world's richest company?
Aramco.
Yeah, I think, are they owned by PIF or not? I'm not really too sure, but PIF, the Public Investment Fund, is up there with another one of the richest companies in the world also. So hopefully they're going to flex their muscles in the transfer window in the summer and get us some serious players. And we'll have a really exciting season ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that we need to talk about is Mental Health Awareness Week. And Spice FM is uniting with every radio station across the UK to play the Mental Health Minute. And we are coming together for a moment of reflection to encourage us all to check in with someone who may be feeling lonely, which can help us all feel more connected. And you are about to hear a special message from the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, calling on the nation to help lift someone out of loneliness. Jalf, so very shortly, Sandeep Kapoor is going to gate crash and kindly take the lead. Sandeep's a great guy. And I think it's wonderful that he commits us and Spice FM and leads the way on these global and national initiatives. And loneliness isn't just a physical feeling, Jalf, just because you're by yourself. It's a mental feeling. And I must admit that as a business owner, with all of the responsibilities and weights, it's a very lonely place.
Yeah, it can be a very lonely place at some point because not everyone is on your wavelength, and that could be the reason for loneliness. You could have lots of people around you, but you can still be lonely.
So do take a minute to reflect, but do take a minute to just reach out.
As we approach the end of Mental Health Awareness Week, Spice FM and Spice Radio is uniting with every radio station across the UK to play the Mental Health Minute. We're coming together for a moment of reflection to encourage us all to check in with someone who may be feeling lonely, which can help us all feel more connected. You're about to hear a special message from the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, calling on the nation to help lift someone out of loneliness.
Hello, I'm Catherine.
And I'm William, and we'd like to talk
for just 1 minute about loneliness.
We're all in different places right now.
Not just physically, but mentally.
And we can all feel lonely sometimes.
No matter who or where we are.
We can feel it for many different reasons.
But we can all help each other feel less isolated and more connected.
The past 2 years have really reminded us of the importance of human relationships.
So if you think someone you know might be feeling lonely, just give them a ring, send them a text or knock on the door.
Maybe suggest meeting for a cup of tea or a walk.
Because these small acts of kindness can make a big difference and help us all feel less lonely.
So, apologies for interrupting every radio station in the country.
But if we interrupt the lives of those who are feeling alone,
we can help lift them out of loneliness.
And that was it.
The Mental Health Minute from the Duke and the Duchess of Cambridge, uniting thousands of radio stations across the country and listeners during Mental Health and Awareness Week. So remember, reach out to someone, have a cup of tea with them, go and kind of knock on the door, you know, just reach out to somebody. It can make the world of difference. You can also visit the Every Mind Matters website for